It's Group B of Ultimate Summit 5 pools, Myron versus Akola, and Myron just lost his second game in a row to Akola, and he is not happy because he is having to deal with some stupid, shitty Steve gimmicks. Look at that face. That is not a happy face, okay? He is consistently out-damaging Akola, but he continues to lose from bullshit like Anvil or like F-Smash, and he is just not happy. Since Akola won, it's his turn to ban his stages, so he picks his 2 bans, and then, after that, Myron decides, hey, I'm going to counterpick to FD. And Myron is counterpicked to FD, and he selects Olimar, and then he waits. And he watches Akola's hand go over Kazuya. Look at that face. That is a face of resignment. He has already accepted his fate, that he fucked up, and he chose FD against a Steve player, but that Steve player went and picked Kazuya. This is the Akola Kazuya counterpick fiasco. Counterpicks are meant to put the ball in the loser's court. So should the winner be able to pick a different character and just nullify the loser's counterpick? So for some background info, every game before Smash Ultimate had you pick characters first, and then afterwards you would choose your stage, and then the game would start. But the competitive scene would always lock in a stage before they would choose their characters. So in Smash Ultimate, Sakurai changed this, and now the stage select screen comes before the character select screen does. But as players like Proto Banham and Akola use the order that we select characters and stages to win sets, there's a ton of people in the Smash community who don't want this order to be the way that it is. They want to change it. I disagree. I think that picking stages before picking characters is good. I'm going to explain why. I'm also going to talk about how we can stop unpredictable counterpicks, as well as the power that winning a game has over the set as a whole. So first, why is picking a stage first good? One is that if you have a character that you only like playing on one stage, you can play that character on that stage and you don't have to play them on any other stage. Personally, I like playing Hero on Town and City. I don't know if that's his best stage. I don't know enough about Hero to say that. However, he has some cool stuff with Up B that if I'm not playing Hero on either Lilat or Town and City, I just don't really want to play him on there. So right now, I am able to just play Hero on Town and City, and I can do that. But if we made it so that you had to lock in a character before we banned stages, then I would just withdraw from playing Hero altogether. I wouldn't play him at all in bracket. Stage picks first also means that characters that have high variance based on the stage can still be viable in bracket. For a great example of this, let's look at Little Mac. Little Mac has a lot going for him. He has the best spot dodge in the game. He has a small hurt box while he's running. He has the 3rd best run speed in the game. He has amazing frame data. He has a frame 1 jab. He has a frame 3 down tilt. He also has great burst options. He has the best roll cancel boost grab as well as the best pivot boost grab. He has a pivot F tilt which slides really far. He has a dash attack which is really great. And he has Haymaker. He has great pokes in neutral with down tilt and F tilt, and because of his mechanic trample, his tilts will actually beat out attacks that would otherwise clank. He also has a lot of great kill options. F tilt has a lot of power. Side B can be confirmed into from down tilt. Up B can be confirmed into from down tilt and up tilt, and you can B reverse it for DI mix-up similar to drifting with Rob's up air. F smash is amazing, it has super armor, and if you're in the center of the stage you can angle it up to kill off the top. Or if you're at the ledge, you can angle it forward to kill off the side. And you can also angle it down for shield breaks. KO Punch also really stands out on Little Mac's toolkit. It will kill at 25% for middleweights. You can also combo into it from down tilt and up tilt. When Little Mac has KO Punch, it gives him the best shield pressure in the game because he can just use it and it goes straight through shield. There's also a lot to like about his disadvantage. When he's at the ledge, he can use Gazelle Punch to get off ledge and kill. His up B can either serve as a frame 3 out of shield option, or a frame 1 invincible combo breaker. Nair is also a frame 3 combo breaker, and charging straight lunge gives him frame 1 damage armor to combo break with. He can also use it to just ignore multi-hits and just phase right through them, and he can jump and shield cancel it so that it has improved safety. He can also land with his counter. He's also tied for the 12th best airspeed in the game, so he can jump and retreat out of shield. Little Mac is known for not having a great recovery, and it's definitely not the best, but it's actually pretty underrated. As already said, he has the 12th best airspeed in the game. He also can go further than you expect him to with his down air, and his counter can be used to mix up his recovery, Plus, his up B is pretty hard to interrupt once it actually gets going. Even with all those upsides, Little Mac is a terrible character. In my opinion, he's the worst in the game. First of all, his game plan definitely does have some issues. He doesn't get anything off of his great grab. He can't recover low. If you hit him too far low, or if you hit him at a bad angle, he will just die. There's nothing that he can do about it. He also loses his KO punch when he gets sent in a tumble, and his shield pressure is pretty abysmal without KO punch. He has Nair and Jab, which aren't safe on shield, but they have really low hit lag, so they're pretty hard to react to. He also has the reverse hit of up tilt on shield, which is actually really safe, but it's not very practical to set up, and when you're threatening it, it's hard to also threaten using grab. So those are all issues with his game plan, but what really kills it is his lack of aerials and his lack of jump height. His terrible aerials and terrible vertical mobility make it really hard for him to pressure people on platforms. This means that you can camp him out on a platform, and there's virtually nothing he can do about it. If you play optimally, you should never lose a set against Little Mac. It is a choice when you lose a set against Little Mac. The only reason why some Little Macs do well is because people choose not to play in a very lame, uninteractive way. And all the stages that we use for competitive play use platforms. Except for Final Destination. On Final Destination, Little Mac doesn't have to worry about being platform camped, and so he is actually a very much viable character on Final Destination. I would argue that he's actually a pretty decent or even good character on Final Destination. But the thing is, you can't play an entire set on Final Destination. So, Little Mac is the worst character in the game. By having players choose the stage before they pick their characters, characters like Little Mac, and other less extreme examples, become viable at least as pockets or secondaries. So it's cool that picking a stage before characters has some upsides, but what do we do about things like the Akola Kazuya counterpick fiasco? How do we deal with that? Instead of locking people into picking characters before stages, we can have them state the character pool that they're choosing from and what stages they're going to choose each character for. This means that there are going to be no more surprises of, oh my god, this guy has a random pocket Kazuya and I just counterpicked a FD and now I'm going to lose the game probably. There's no more of that because you know exactly what they're going to choose. But lots of people are also just generally having an issue with the power over a set that comes with winning a game. So how do we reduce the power of winning a game? Right now, we have 2 bans in a 7-stage rule set. That gives too much power to the winner of a game. Instead, what we should be doing is 1 ban with DSR. The winner only being able to ban 1 stage for the next game means that they have less direct power over that next game. And DSR means you can't pick a stage that you already won on, so winning a game will give you less power over the set as a whole. One issue with this is that the loser of Game 1 will have a massive advantage for Game 2 because they'll probably be able to pick a stage that they really, really favor. It seems like the loser of Game 1 has a massive advantage over the set as a whole. But assuming that the loser of Game 1 will then win Game 2, that means that they had to trade off their second best stage for a win, while the winner of Game 1 only had to trade off a neutral stage for a win. So this ends up evening out the advantage between the Game 1 winner and loser. But yeah, I think we should still pick our stages before we pick our characters, and I think that we should adopt a 1-ban DSR rule set.
This time, stage selection comes before fighter selection. This way, you can pick a fighter based on how well suited they are for the stage.